3-day losing streak in the S&Ps and the triple Qs. Glad I sweated out that correction. Things are kind of quiet intraday ranges and stuff, but we got some stocks moving. Moderna, Merck, what kind of moves? Cancer treatment. That's a good thing. We'll talk about that. Robotics, Unitree. Whew, what an IPO. We'll cover that. We got some offerings, convertible offerings. We got earnings. We'll talk economics at 8:35 with our boy Blue Putnam. Folks, it's Wednesday. Pre-market prep getting started right now.
The volatility right now is really incredible.
Wow, look at that consolidation on the upper right chart.
You know what we've seen this earnings season? Some of these expected moves get even more violent. This is why I have switched my strategy 10 years ago. And if you're chasing, you're in trouble.
Okay, folks, as I said, starting out in the green here, we're looking at these charts brought to you by TradeStation Securities. Born to trade, chart, analyze, customize, all in one platform. Trade smarter, move faster, stay in control with the platform built for all types of investors. As I said, S&P's up 3 handles here, 77, 17, 75. That's a lot of sevens here. Let's look at the buck. The buck is trading down about a quarter here, matching yesterday's high and pulling back a tad. TLT up 23 cents, 81.89. USO continuing to climb up 84 cents at 131.50. GLD and SLV, they're going a little bit different directions here. GLD is up $1.73, 40028. SLV down 4 cents, 57.40. And Bitcoin, another quiet day in Bitcoin, down $155 at 64,560. We're going to bring Dennis in this morning. And Dennis, there are some stocks that are not moving, but we got some huge movers today in the healthcare sector.
Yeah, I'll bring Brentster into this too, because this move in Moderna is nothing short of absolutely incredible here, Brentster. Yeah. I mean, I'm watching it trade, and it's trading like, in integers. Like, there's nothing in between. 129, 130, 131, 139, 120. It's just going all over the place here. An unbelievable move, but unbelievable news here too. So, let's get the context behind this incredible move here in mRNA. Because this was announced this morning, about just over an hour ago. We got news that their mRNA vaccine for cancer hitting phase 3 results, it looks like. What's the details here?
Yeah, a melanoma vaccine. Let's think about that. That is
badass
stuff. Yeah, that's really amazing. So the money item that we always look for in these FDA releases, you want to look for first the end point. And right in the press release from Merck and Moderna, they say the trial for Keytruda as a trial for a melanoma vaccine met its primary endpoint of recurrence-free survival and a key secondary endpoint. Shares of Moderna here trading up $60.
109%. It's trading up right now. 109% it's trading higher here. I mean, a cancer vaccine has never been accomplished. So you just think about, let's say they get this through. There's going to be a lot of people. Like, you think about, how much money COVID, obviously, Moderna made during COVID. And then, everybody stopped getting the shots. And, Moderna went from making a huge amount of money to burning cash. Imagine if they did get a cancer vaccine through. There'd be a lot of people that would take that vaccine if it could actually push through. Now, again, it's only phase 3. We got a long ways to go to get an approval here. But this is, a game changer for Moderna if it was to happen. Now, Merck, obviously, the huge company that Merck doesn't move the needle quite as much, but it does move the needle a lot too. And is Keytruda one of the best drugs of all time, or what? Keytruda is involved in everything, it seems like. This drug just cures everything. So 147, Merck trading up 8.75%. That's one of Merck's biggest moves in years too. Yeah. But it pales in comparison to the Moderna move, because Moderna needs something. I mean, they're still in a cash burn situation. This would absolutely change the game if they got this approved for Moderna. And, this is something that probably, like, you think about COVID. Well, COVID kind of went away. Maybe it's still stuck around, but, we all got used to it and kind of morphed with the flu. Cancer doesn't go away. So, I mean, you're going to be getting this vaccine yearly. Is it a one-time vaccine? I don't know the details of any of that stuff.
Yeah.
But this would be a moneymaker, huge moneymaker for mRNA.
138.07.
Just
If
hit
you
it
were
like a minute
looking for
ago.
that, no, that if you were holding, oh, I forgot to put the year in here. Back in this would be 2024, the last week in June. This hit 138.07, and on that last bar, you just got to 134. So keep an eye on your pre-market high. This thing is just trading just fast and furious. If I had to, like, if things settle down here in the pre-market and someone gets serious about selling stock, which you never know, this area here was that was also back in 2024, a little bit in August. A lot of memory here in the mid 125 handle. So if you think you missed that high in the 130 handle, I keep an eye on the 125 area. I mean, for Merck, full disclosure, I've had Merck for a long time, up and down it all around, wanted to dump it a few times, but
Yeah. You
never
have it
did.
still?
Still have it. Yep. This is a core one. This is one. I did the round tripper. I did the 80. I mean, we'll go to a longer term one. But anyways, it's all-time high. $11.50 move in Merck is just
It's a huge move.
unfathomable. It's like
It's a huge move. It's probably one of Merck's biggest moves in
it
years.
is. Yeah, I'd have to say too.
Like, it doesn't move. This is a slow moving stock. But one thing to say, and we talked about Merck for a while here. I mean, when Merck got down in the 80s back in 2025, the end of 2025, the thing was trading like 12 times earnings, 11 times earnings. And you know how you had Lilly at 50 times earnings. And we're like, eventually this gap is going to start to close. There's going to be a drug. There's going to be something. Like, Merck's smart as well. It's not like they're a bunch of idiots over here and they just can't come up with anything. They're working on a lot of things. And Keytruda is one of the best drugs of all time. If we look, a year later, here is Merck, one of the best performers in the last year, up like 80%. So it's been, sometimes just closing your eyes and saying the stock's gotten too cheap is the way to do it from a long-term perspective. Bristol Myers, obviously nothing to do with this at all, but same story. Got down to like 7 times earnings, trading in the 40s. Sometimes it's just like close your eyes, 6% dividend. Are they going to figure it out? Probably. Like, these companies are working on things all the time. The question I have, does AI actually make these companies more efficient? Does AI help, in the drug development, eventually here? Does AI, can they use, like, not about talking about firing employees. It's about, like, creating more drugs, like creating more things that help people. I mean, we know we use AI all the time, and it can complement human workers. I would think in biotech, I would think in drugs that AI is going to be huge to complement, like the human workers here. Like, think about labs. Think about how many studies they can run now, how much quicker it can be run in simulation using AI.
Yeah.
I mean, are these question mark? We've been saying for a while, XBI has been moving with the AI tech names. It has. It's kind of it's continuing. It's been an unbelievable performer too. In the last year and a half, XBI has doubled. Full disclosure, I do own XBI. I mean, is this a sleepy AI trade like drugs? Is it just like the users? Because we're obviously been in this environment where lots of the spendies like Micron, SanDisk, the companies that are breaking in now because the hyperscalers are all spending like crazy, and the capex is there, being spent. Those have been the direct recipients here. But do we get to a point where there's other companies making money because of AI as well? That's the question mark.
Excuse me. I think you're onto something, Dennis. I think we need an expert on here to let us know how drugs and maybe medical devices advancement is going with AI. That would be a cool topic, I think.
Yeah. So I think it's a sleepy AI trade, like a lot of these names. And I think there's a reason the drugs are so strong. I mean, we've been talking about the relentless strength in XLV, and it has been absolutely relentless. Look at it, Joel. New all-time highs here again.
Yeah.
So, I mean, drugs are on fire. This market is on drugs to a certain extent. Like, it's come off, obviously, some of those Momo names have really broken. They didn't make new highs. They're coming off here now. But this market, the drug rally is not fading. The drug rally, if anything, is starting to accelerate.
And it's interesting because I just was going back and I thought that I was looking for the catalyst. I was looking for the reason why these drug stocks were under pressure at that time in late 2024 and early 2025. And that was because of the uncertainty following the election and the nomination of Robert F. Kennedy to run Health and Human Services. And we were, those stocks took, huge hits then, GLP concerns, drug pricing was going to be under pressure. Biotechs also were, rates were starting to rise here. So, being a contrarian at that time was the thing to do. Now it's quite look at these stocks now, just not quite 2 years later, but Catalyst provided a good contrarian move. So let it continue today. I just got won't be able to take my eyes off.
What do you do on Moderna, Joel?
Oh,
let's go back to Moderna one more time because this is your mover of the day. It's your stock of the day.
Your high of the day.
It's a fairly large, biotech company here that just ran up 100% in a day.
You know what to do.
That's crazy.
You rang the register?
If I had Moderna, I don't know if I do. I don't think I'd have Moderna.
Yeah, I don't even know on so many stocks.
Come on, that's just crazy. I don't think
sell the rep.
Oh, man.
We listen to pre-market prep. We sell reps.
What more could you expect? See, now people are waking up and they don't know about the 134 print. They're going 119.
See ya.
Yeah,
it's probably not a bad idea. When your stock doubles in a day, at least sell half, and then you're completely playing with the house's money. That's not a bad play. We don't see a lot of stocks double in a day, but even when your stock doubles overall, I used to always employ that rule. When my stock doubled, I sell half, and then I'm completely playing with the house's money forever on that position. But then, you don't really grow into these huge positions because you're always selling half. But, it's not a bad play. If you had Moderna at the close 62.96 and you're able to go at 130 this morning, you sell half and now it's all the house's money here and we can just let a little bit ride. It's not a bad play too. I can't predict on where Moderna is going to go. No. This is great news for the company. The stock is definitely worth a lot more today than it was yesterday. Is it worth 91% more? Well, we'll let the market determine that. But we know we are a little bit in the sell the rip market here. Rips haven't been really holding that well on anything. So I'm not going to come in here and buy a stock up 90%.
Is this a wide? It's not that widely covered, right, Merck? We don't hear much.
Merck's fairly widely covered, yeah.
Merck is, but not Moderna.
Moderna? There's William Blair upgrading it right now as we speak.
They're okay. I was just going to say.
We believe Moderna has a clear line of sight to revenue diversification from the COVID business. Oh, that's enlightening. A clear line of sight. Yeah, I think so, actually. Stock thoughts and upgrade to outperform. Moderna shares are up over 70% pre-market in response to the positive IN Interpath 01. This is just coming out hot off the press. This rating just hit 3 minutes ago. Interim readout that we will presumably put both Merck and Moderna in a good position to file with regulators for potential approval. A lot of jargon here, a lot of numbers, but we are upgrading shares to outperform from market performance, given that we believe Moderna has a clear line of sight to revenue diversification from COVID business now, and our model remains under final review.
Joel, why did you think of the sell side right there? You were just like, maybe there's some upgrade cycle coming.
They always, come out.
There is an upgrade cycle probably coming.
Yeah. Well, no, what I was going to say, I was thinking about like tomorrow. Like you got to adjust your Merck price target now, right?
Right.
Moderna for sure. If you cover, I don't know how many analysts cover Moderna. We could probably find that out over at Tip Ranks, but it's probably like probably a dozen or so, I would imagine. It's not like an uncovered company. So let's see what happens, and we're going to revisit this. We'll revisit at the end of the show because this is going to continue to be moving here. There's all kinds of news. SKHY with a buyback, which we'll get to in a second. That stock's popping up in the pre-market here. I want to talk Unitree. I know people, don't like the AI talk. This entire market's built on AI. So if we weren't talking AI on this show, you would literally not be making any money. So because those are the stocks that have all made money. And I honestly think the drug rally recently is built on AI as well. So Unitree, IPO in China, breaking some records here, and robots, Olympics are coming here. What was the details here, Brunster?
Yesterday was the China debut for Unitree, and the headlines are saying the stock rallied 600% on the IPO. They were going to you had some of the math, Dennis. They were expected to raise in the IPO $6 billion. They end up raising over 50 billion, 60 billion or something like that, correct?
Yeah, well, it ends up going to a market cap of that. So I don't know
Market
all the
cap,
stats
excuse
in front
me.
of me.
Yeah. I don't know about the raising part, but
Yeah.
you're very intrigued by this Unitree company,
Oh,
Dennis.
I think it's really cool. Like, I think Unitree
Yeah.
is the leader in robotics, at least in Asia right now. You know, Tesla's got a ways to go to be catching up to these guys. They're doing a lot of things. They're going. What it's going to be exciting to see, actually, maybe this will be an eye opener this weekend. Is August 22nd is the robot Olympics in China here. So this is Saturday. Last year it was kind of funny, some robots wrestling and one falls, and then there's a 100-meter dasher and it falls too. I mean, we're going to see what happens, but it's expected that they're going to be a lot better this year. 1 year later, let's see what we see. Unitree is going to be participating in this. You've got a couple videos here, Brentster, just what Unitree is unveiling, just to show,
Yeah.
and obviously it's not perfect, and everybody's going to show the clips where the robots fall down, or the one that ran into the trash can the other day because it was running 100 meters so fast and didn't stop and ran into like the trash cans or something. So, but I mean, it's still impressive that robotics is coming to this. Like, show a couple of videos.
So we watched the dog video last week, maybe a week and a half
Yeah, the
ago.
one
It's
flying
dogs
around.
going through the mountains, and it has kind of these like not
Wheels.
hydraulic, but these kind of like adjustable legs. This is the clip that I'm going to show, and excuse all of the activity and ads and stuff, but this is the website NBC News that I viewed it on. This is the model that Unitree unveiled earlier this week, kind of ahead of the IPO. So here we go. Let me click play. It's right here. You can see it just jumped like
High,
I don't
man.
know. That
That's
thing jumped like 7
that's
feet.
pretty good at the high jump.
This is called
That's
the
the one that ran
Superman.
the trash can though at the end. They didn't show that part.
You gotta leave that. Yeah, this is
Oh,
the Superman, and this is what they unveiled on Monday. So
it's
maybe
pretty cool.
maybe we'll keep showing you these little Unitree clips or
Well,
other robotics.
here is the deal: is this has not been the year of robotics. Robotic stock's not done well at all. Does Unitree change the narrative a little bit? Do the Robot Olympics change the narrative here? I don't know. Is there a ticker? It's over in Asia. There's no U.S. ticker symbol, and it's probably like I don't think there's an ADR here yet. There will be eventually an ADR here. I'm not sure there's one yet. So, but it's out over in Asia. It was underwritten at I don't know, it was like under 10 billion and ended up a $60 billion market cap yesterday. So it jumped enormously yesterday in its first day of trading. There's a lot of excitement around this name over in Asia. I know over here we haven't heard too much about Unitree, but this company is doing a lot of amazing things with robotics. And I do believe that we will eventually be talking a lot more about physical AI in the future. The question is timing. Is it this year? Not really. Is it next year? Maybe. By 2028, yes. So, I mean, somewhere in the next 18 to 24 months, there's going to be a lot more talk about robotics and physical AI. And I think there's going to be a huge boom in some of these names. Now, again, a lot of these stocks, these are speculative ones, like we've talked, like the Rich Tech Robotics, that one, it's been speculative and been going straight down. Symbotic is SYM.
Yeah.
They do a lot of robotics for warehouses and stuff. We know Serve Robotics, there hasn't really been oh my God, that's going to change the world moment here in robotics yet. That's probably going to come eventually, though.
And it's funny to think that maybe that moment sort of already happened with Intuitive Surgical's Da Vinci. This is like if you wanted to get exposure to robotics in a bit of a different way than I think how we're thinking about robotics now, with AI potentially filling our robots in the next few years. ISRG has been a play. Symbotic, SYM, is the robotics name that you can trade in the US that far and away has the most sales. They have hundreds of millions in sales every quarter. So,
and I've been long this thing, and it's been it's like I said, it hasn't been the long year of robotics. This has been one of my bad calls. Wish you could be right all the time. If you could be right 100% of the time, wouldn't that be nice? CCXI also is another one. This is Churchill Capital Corp that is merging with Agility Robotics. I don't think we have the final date of when that is going to merge or is going to close. But if you're looking at another robotics play that a lot of people have been talking about, CCXI is trading up here probably because of Unitree. I mean, Unitree had a really good IPO, so it's up 4.76%. It is merging with Agility Robotics, which is another robotics company. So these robotics companies are coming out. The question is, are any of them going to compete with Tesla? Are any going to compete with the big guns?
What are they going to do?
Unitree looks like
what
the
are
gun
these robots
too.
going to do? What are they going to do?
Everything. Joel.
How expensive are they going to be?
See, this is what we like, because Joel is sitting here like the older guy and saying none of this is ever going to work. He's having he's having his nobody's ever going to pay 25 cents for a McDonald's hamburger moment here.
It was a nickel.
A nickel.
No, it was a no.
He might be having that moment
for
here.
A burger and like a nickel for a cup.
And nobody's going to stay at home and watch this box.
Who's going to sit in front of a little box on your living room floor and watch it?
That's what his dad said. Joel's the world comes full circle. Joel's having his dad's moment here right now. I believe.
Come on, man. Robotic. I mean, come on.
And you can be skeptical, and you know what? It's been right to be skeptical, and you've been correct to be skeptical, because those robotic stocks have all come down. So that will give you props so far. But I think in the end, I think robotics is going to be a big thing in the future here. I really think this is where AI, with robotics, it's where people are going to realize, oh, the world is changing. You know, like from drone delivery, like Amazon talking about drone delivery overnight here, even, increasing to like, I forget what they said, like 1 million drones, or how many drones was it? They were talking about employing here. I mean, we are going to be changing. There's going to be more physical robots you're going to see all the time. It's just a matter of like how quickly adoption happens and how quickly the AI technology can be put into physical AI and make stuff change. The timing is the only question here, in my opinion.
Okay. Yeah. I mean,
it could be 3 to 5 years out. Like Joel's saying, it's never going to come.
I'm not saying it's never.
When do you think? When do you think you wake up and you say, "Holy cow, we're in a robotics world"? Or do you never?
2040. We're in 2026 right now. That'd be 14 years from now. 20.
Is that your guess, Brent? 14 years from now?
I'm just throwing something out there for Joel. Just trying to get the wheels turning for Joel.
But you guys, what I'm trying to think about is, like, how expensive are they going to be?
They're not bad.
I think
we just showed you. You can buy the Unitree dog for like $3,500, but I mean, it doesn't do much, and it doesn't do much. It's not good yet.
I don't want to put any timetables on any. I'm not.
Okay. I will put a timetable on it because people want timetables. By 2030, 3.5 years from now, you're going to see a much different robotics landscape here. I think you're early in 2026. I think people start talking about it more next year, but I still think it's going to be like, we're still in the laughing stage of it. Like the robots, trying to like wrestle with somebody, its head falls off. It's running the 100-meter dash and it runs into the trash cans at the end. We're still in the laughing stage of it, but eventually we won't be in the laughing stage of it. It will continue to get better. The technology will continue to evolve.
Well, let me backtrack. I mean, we're already using robotics a lot. And it's going to be part of, in factories and manufacturing and production. And, are you going to need people working at the grocery store anymore? No. Those things are definitely.
Well, it's been there already. We've been into robotics, like in the factories. Robotics have been there for years. The question is, when does it become autonomous, that the robots can actually think and do the job without having to actually be controlled by, a program?
But a robotic dog? Come on.
Okay, the dog's a bad example. Unitree does doing a lot of different things. But I know Joel loves his dog. He's going to call his dog.
I don't
want to pet the robotic dog.
I don't know.
Some people might, though. 2030, the great reset.
Get a robot to replace me, man. That's what you need. That's what you need.
But again, the question as an investor is, it's the timing of this, because I think it's inevitable that robots are coming and robotics are coming, and they are going to change the world here too. So, we can look and say, maybe the robots kill us all. That is 20%. Elon Musk has said that's a possibility. He's given it 20%. That's scary. Like, I don't know if he's backing off those, but, at one point in time he said that. It's scary. So you think the world's going to stop creating all this stuff, though? Like, is it all of a sudden just going to go away, Brentster? That we're all going to agree that AI could potentially kill us all, so we better stop innovating here. You can't control everybody. Like, what are they doing over in other countries? You can't control it. So, there's no putting the genie back in the bottle. That would be like probably me and Brentster was even saying the other day in the think tank. I kind of wish AI was never created. I do. I, I'm fascinated by it, but I don't think it's great for human beings in the long run. I know Musk says ages of abundance where the boat robots just do everything for us and we'll do nothing. But I think that's very optimistic. I think it could go very sideways and wrong. So I personally wish AI was never created, but it cannot be uncreated. So
Yeah.
now we have to just go forward with, we're going to live with AI. It is coming. You can put your head in the sand and ignore it, but it is coming for everything. And then we just have to figure out, how to live with it, because it's not going away, folks. Just because you don't like it doesn't mean it's going to go away.
You have to cyborg yourself. We are Borg, Catan says.
Well, Tesla's trying to do that too. I mean, like we're doing all of it. That might happen as well. Maybe this is the way we live forever. Who knows? Okay, so that's a conversation that's been going for a while. Blue is in the background here. Let's go to some economics here. Bring Blue in right now, and then we'll come back to some of these earnings reports that we had overnight.
All right, welcome to the stage, Blue Putnam, Chief Economist for the Stock Trader Network. Following this economic landscape for us, Blue, how you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm just getting my coffee, so I might be a little slow.
Question for you. Did you summon your robot to go into the kitchen, get your cup of coffee, pour your coffee, add a little bit of milk and stuff, and then bring it back to you?
My robot is not working well this morning.
Would you get one, Blue? Would you get a little serve robotics that goes and makes your coffee, brings it back? Would you, if it was like $5,000, would you go and buy one of those things that you're like, never, ever, ever, I like making my coffee in the morning?
Not a chance. There's a restaurant near me that has one of those that it beeps and it plays music and it brings the food to your table. It doesn't know what the different people want. It's a disaster.
All right, we're a few years away from that. Okay. Us old guys agree. All right, Blue. So let's talk some economics here. And everyone is worried about the U.S. Treasury 10-year yield 4.72, or are they not worried about it?
Oh, they're worried about it. You guys were talking about AI, but my read on the stock market today is not today, but in the last couple of weeks, we've got worries about bonds and we've got worried about artificial intelligence. Those are the really two things that I think are bothering equities. So I'm more of an expert in the bonds, although I am a user of AI, like Dennis. I have no choice. And by the way, it has made me more efficient. I cannot complain about some of the tools. They're pretty good.
Yeah.
But I think I'm a relatively responsible user, but we'll see how that works through time if I ever get a robot. Anyway, the bonds are really disturbing equities. They're disturbing everybody. The 10-year is in a new trading range. For a long time, I thought the 4.50, 450 was a ceiling for the Treasury market. But the longer this Iran war goes on, things like that, now we're trading between 450 and 475 on the 10-year Treasury, and we're kind of right up on top of the new ceiling. And by the way, 450 is now a floor.
That's scary.
Might not be a solid floor, but it's a floor. The big issue for the Treasuries, though, is if Treasuries go higher, mortgage rates go higher. Mortgage rates go higher, housing's in more trouble, so the economy gets a little more fragile. Yeah, this is the Treasury picture, and that's the mortgage picture. They're both going up right at the in the last couple of 2 months, and it's it's all about Iran. Of course, Iran is. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, at what point does the stock market start paying attention to what is happening in the bond market? Paying attention to yields? Because, here we are, basically all-time high. Stock market's like, it's the bond market's problem. Who cares here that rates are going higher? I mean, at what point in time? There's going to be a point in time where the stock market's going to say, oh, crap, rates are really high.
Yeah, there will be a point in time. And right now it happens every other day, and then the next day it's okay.
Yeah.
But the problem is that there are two things going on. You're really starting to question, is AI overpriced? I mean, AI is certainly real. The Anthropic revenues, the open AI revenues, they're pretty incredible. but have we priced it enough? So that issue is on top of this bond market issue. So for now, when the bond yields rise, we just kind of have a bad day, and then we stabilize. But the stock market's starting to pay attention, no doubt about it.
What about gasoline prices? If we're gonna,
Well, this is the driver. This is coming from Iran, obviously crude oil, but the refiners are adding to their margins because their demand is different from the actual crude. And so you've got gasoline prices. We thought they were going down. Then this war came on for longer, and it looks like it's going to stay longer. Gasoline prices are back above $4 nationally. That's unleaded regular. If you have a high performance car, it's already $5. And if you're in California, it's over $6. So this is a tough market. It's going higher. And by the way, gasoline prices don't affect the core price inflation indexes, but they do affect the headline. And the next headline one comes out September 11. It's the August data, and it's not going to be good. And when you put those two together, the Fed funds rate is right on top of the current inflation rate. Let me tell you, that's not a neutral policy. That's going to bother a lot of FOMC members, when they see that August inflation data a week before their Fed meeting, it's going to change the dynamics. I mean, I don't think they're going to raise rates, but boy, that discussion is going to get even more difficult.
Debt. Do we worry about debt or not? Not really.
Oh, yeah, we do. We are. And the reason we're worried about debt is because back to the Iran war. The Defense Department spending and budgets are just going to go skyrocketing because we've used up so much of our military resources. Whether you're a Republican or Democrat, you can hate the war, you can love the war, whatever you want, but you're going to want to rebuild the U.S. Armed Forces, and that's going to cost a lot of money. When the administration or the White House tells us the war cost X, they're not talking about what it's going to cost for the next 3 years to rebuild. And it's going to be huge. And by huge, I mean $500 billion. So we're going to take the defense budget up somewhere between 20 and 30, 40, 50%. It's just going to be huge. So we're starting to worry about debt. Debt is back on the horizon.
This is a great chart here, though, because everybody always shows, debt just nominally and, just going straight up. And, we've just just going nuts here. When you put it as a percent of real GDP, though, we actually still haven't even hit back to the pandemic highs here because the economy has grown so much. So, I mean, really, when you look at it here, it still looks bad. I mean, sitting at 30% in 1972 to 123% in 2026, it doesn't look great. But it doesn't look like everybody else's charts are showing. This is a fantastic chart.
Yeah, and Japan would have this thing at 200%. China would have it very high as well. So yeah, when you calibrate relative to GDP, it's not a terrible picture, which is why we're not looking at any kind of collapse where there's no debt crisis. But when we're talking about more debt and a bigger budget, we're talking about more issuance of bonds. And every time you issue a bond, somebody's got to buy them. And during the zero rate period, the Fed bought them. But the Fed's not doing that anymore. So somebody else has got to buy them. And Japan can't buy them like they used to because their currency's weak and they're actually selling treasuries. And China's not going to buy them because they don't want to buy them anymore. So the two largest buyers outside the U.S. aren't here. So we're really worried about debt issuance rather than debt.
Fed rate hike probabilities here. September doesn't look like it's going to happen. What do you think later in the year here? What are we looking at for the Fed?
Well, I've looked at this two ways. This is the Cauchy prediction, and this is a really clean look at the Fed because they're just asking the question: do rates go up or not? And the no vote is now about 72%, give or take. By the way, it was the other direction back when we got the employment data a couple of months ago. But then when we got the cool data recently, it took it the other way. And inflation's been cool, but both of those things aren't going to last. As I mentioned, the inflation data is not going to be good, the next report. And the jobs report is probably going to have a little upward bounce. So, But I like to also look at the long-term picture. And for here, I go to the CME futures, and I look at what are they thinking about all the way into middle of next year. And if you go back several months, they were talking about 2 or 3 cuts, and now we're talking about 1 to 2 rises. So the long-term outlook is we don't know when the Fed might raise rates, but we've shifted our thinking from a cut to a hike as the next move.
Doesn't that increase chances for a recession? I mean, is the AI trade. I mean, I'd like to know where you're at. I mean, you've had the correction. A lot of the AI stocks, they have battled their way back. Bad day yesterday here, but I mean, what is it? What's the next catalyst? Or is this eventually these rates are going to tip, and the bond fears are going to tip us into a recession?
Recessions are difficult to actually start. The worst recessions come when you have a bank problem, like we did in the Great Recession or in the S&L crisis or stuff like that. The quick recessions are when it's some other cause, 9/11, tech wreck back in 2000, or the pandemic. The government comes in and a quick one and helps out. But we're really in a place where the economy is fragile. So if the Fed raises rates, by the way, the Fed never raises rates one time.
True.
They don't like to do. They're not a one and done group. If they're going to start raising rates, they're going to do it 2 or 3. And then that's the problem I have with the Fed hawks. They're telling me they want to raise rates, but they haven't told me how far they want to go. And we're going to start hearing that talk. But yeah, we're fragile enough in the economy that taking rates up 75, 100 basis points, so that's 3 or 4 hikes, could definitely tilt us into a mild recession. Now, the AI is a different issue for me. What I worry about AI is all the pyramiding we have going on. Like NVIDIA invests in OpenAI, and OpenAI buys NVIDIA chips and all that. I'm an economist, and what I know is when companies are making a lot of money, you get a lot of startups that are going to challenge that. And you get a lot of older companies that say, wait a minute, I can build an NVIDIA chip. So you're going to get a lot of competition over the next 2 or 3 years. And what competition does, it drives down profit margins. So I'm very worried that we are at peak AI enthusiasm. Actually, we're slightly past it. Yeah. And, we're rotating the market, but the interconnections among all the AI players, I haven't seen that. This is maybe a bad analogy, but I haven't seen that till the Japanese stock market back in the 80s. Every stock company owned everybody else's company, and they were interlocking boards, and that took that market almost up to, I think, 40,000 before it crashed back to 10. Interlocking investments is never a great idea in the long run. It's very tricky. So I think we're at the end of the AI, but I'm sure not going to predict when it comes down, because it's a huge growth area right now, but it doesn't look stable.
Yeah, just real quickly, breaking news here affecting the bond market and the S&Ps here just exploded. U.S. Treasuries increasing size and liquidity support buyback operations for longer dated nominal coupon securities. Change is effective September 9th. That just lit a fire under the TLT here. Also, this is what the equity markets wanted to hear. Any comments on the move by the U.S. Treasury?
Well, I guess what they're really doing is they're going to buy a lot of more short-term debt and really focus on the short term and not issue the long term. Wow. By the way, the short-term debt is more expensive than, it's not more expensive right now, but if the Fed starts to raise rates, this strategy doesn't work. This doesn't look like a good move, but it's what they're doing. So we're gonna live with it, and we're gonna watch it. But it also tells us how worried they are about the bond market. The equities are looking at it. You and I are looking at it, and man, obviously the Treasury is looking at it. What can we do?
Well,
Band-Aids don't work, though.
Yep. Okay. All right. Seeing the bond market explode off that. So, all right, Blue Putnam, chief economist for the Stock Trader Network, joining us. Thank you, Blue.
Thank you.
Thanks, Blue. Well, we were going to say the Marvel news was probably going to be the major news when Blue was on here, but this move in the TLT is pretty substantial here too, Joel. Do you have that actual headline here?
I have
Just
the
show it.
release here from the Treasury. Yeah, you want to see it on screen, Triple D?
Yeah. Let's see what
Cool.
this
Give
is
me
because
one
we haven't
second
been
to pull it up.
seeing the TLT just in the gutter here
Yeah.
and going straight down. So this changes some stuff here happening here right now.
For sure.
Yeah.
Coming
And
to
obviously
your
the
screen
stock
right
market
now.
itself has exploded higher on this as well. Not so much it's not an AI rally here, but it's kind of an everything rally all of a sudden. We just ignited the RSP. We obviously SPY is being held down. The Qs are not, it's coming back here too. Treasury announces increased sizes of nominal long end.
Yep. The U.S. Treasury Department is increasing by at least double the size of liquidity support buyback operations for long-dated nominal coupon securities, the 10-year to the 20-year sector and the 20-year to the 30-year sector. The current maximum size of $2 billion per operation will be at least $4 billion per operation. As Joel said, the change is effective September 9th. Ted in the STN think tank said, Treasury injecting liquidity. That was at least his interpretation of this news item here.
Yeah, huge pop here, obviously, in the TLT. Just go back to technicals here, Joel, on the TLT. 83 was where we got to 4 days ago, topped out there. We're approaching that right now.
Yeah.
This changed the narrative. Like, Blue's still there. Can we bring him back in just on this one here, just to see if this changed the narrative?
Yeah.
I don't know if he's ready there, if he's still there.
Blue.
Just, like, we don't. This is breaking news here, so I just want to look at it here too. I mean, we were just reading that off, Blue, and I'm not sure if you were listening. This is like
I'm listening.
Does this change the narrative for the bond market here? Like, does this get like the bond market turning? Because obviously it's been in the gutter here. Like what does this do? This is huge news.
Well, I'm struggling with this. I read it on your screen.
Yeah.
And it comes as a little bit of a surprise, but I got to tell you, I can't really think it changes the longer run dynamic. The budget deficits are getting bigger, interest rates expenses getting bigger. The Fed is not going to do quantitative easing. They're not going to buy these things.
Sure.
So, I don't, you can move around the issuance, but to me, this is going to be a blip and not a permanent move. But it does tell you that the Treasury is watching the bonds just like we are, and they're not happy.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I think is you're watching, and they're like defending it here.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you think about how, not comparing it to QE or anything like that, but I mean, you go back to 2010 to 2020, I had that chart on there. We were driven by quantitative easing. The stock market was coming out of the financial crisis. We needed help here. This, again, not the same thing at all, but you wonder if this just doesn't change the narrative here and get people like a little more excited in the bond market. It's obviously a knee-jerk reaction higher. The question is, can it be sustained, like this move here that we're seeing higher in the bonds this morning?
Yeah, and it's how far it's going to go. I mean, I can't see it going very far. But this is a defensive move, and defensive moves, like in football, they call them a preventive defense. It prevents a win. So I'm nervous about this.
Yeah, I mean, you could have gotten an exact negative, opposite reaction. Like, oh man, they're doing this. They're pulling it. They must be seeing something down the line here that isn't good. But can't argue with the price action, right? The market's liking it for now. So don't fight the Fed, I guess. Here's another good example, just continuing to climb. All right, Blue, thanks for sticking around for that extra insight.
Yeah, sorry. No, go enjoy your coffee.
All right.
All right, later.
Thanks, Blue. So the other news that broke during Blue's
Yes,
when Blue was on is the Marvel news. So jump in there, Brenster.
Okay, I will pull up the filing on screen here in just a sec. But the news was that Marvell wins a commercial agreement with Google. Here comes the Marvell chart to your screen right now.
Wow, Marvell's doing everything right now.
And so I actually noticed this first because Broadcom started moving lower. I actually saw
Yeah.
the filing because Broadcom started tanking, and then I saw Marvell climbing. So Marvell Google expanded partnership spans a comprehensive range of custom silicon programs that attach to the tensor processing unit ecosystem, that TPU, including AI inference accelerators, storage controllers, network inference controllers, memory interference controllers. Part of this, Marvell issued to Google a warrant to buy up to 59 million shares of MRVL common stock at an exercise price of $206.58 per share.
I mean, this here is, Marvell's gain is probably AVGO's loss, which makes sense. Like, we've always grouped these
Right.
stocks together, even on my sheet of paper, and you've got, like, Marvell has not like really been partnering as much with Google as much as AVGO has. So all of a sudden it's like, oh my gosh, I'm going to partner with Marvell. It might mean less business for AVGO. That's the knee-jerk reaction here too. I mean, even AVGO, we could start with the technicals on this one here, Joel, because this is one stock that can't seem to get off the mat here. This is one AI stock that is the same place it was a year and a half ago. So, there is, and obviously this is not, this is a hardware name here. So, I mean, you think about the incredible last 18 months in hardware. AVGO has not participated here at Broadcom. Like, again, it had a pretty good 2025. So, I mean, it's not saying it hasn't gone up, but in the last year, it's really gone nowhere.
This and I've tried to emphasize this chart over the last couple months when I mean this is the catalyst for the sell-off in the hardware trade. It was early. It was those June earnings and they gapped down and it's tried to recover. It actually had a nice recovery going, trying to get back into that gap area. Got slammed right back down here. Now we're back down another $13, back below the 200-day moving average. The recent low of the move is closer to the 360 area. So some of that money from Google looks like it's going to Marvell. You see the reaction now for Marvell, and I'll say it once, I'll say it again. I mean, you had a big correction here. You got the 50% retracement. This is just a monster move. Let's call it just under 247. You just got to 245 here. Look at what the SanDisk did yesterday. It got back half of the move, gave back some yesterday, right? It was a sell hardware day and same kind of thing. So I would really, for these moves to continue to get back to those old time highs, we got to establish some bids up here and it's just take it, perhaps it's just a breather after the Leo bottom. But the same with Micron yesterday. So I'd be careful chasing this Marvell move and just keep an eye on that 247 area.
Big S&Ps continue to grind higher here too. So it's not just the move in the TLT. The S&P has moved up substantially since we got this Treasury news here as well. If you just look, it's just a steady climb, like not even really a dip. Like you just have constant buying pressure here in the S&Ps, and we haven't really dipped at all. So I mean, like I correction over. We were asking the question. I think the Treasury just made the correction over here. Like this is an incredible move here for a lot of stocks, and it is an everything rally here, folks. We haven't seen a lot of everything rallies, but we're pretty much green across the board here now. A few stocks still pesky. Oracle always goes down because it's the worst stock in the entire stock market. But some of the software names not up as much. But again, the hardware names are bouncing back. You've got, oil stocks are up, banks are up, home builders are up. We had Toll Brothers earnings last night. You've got, airlines are trading higher, with oil trading higher as well. It's always interesting. Retail stocks are trading higher. We're in retail earnings season, which we haven't got to any of those earnings yet either. I mean, this is an everything rally here this morning. This, again, it's hard to stay bearish in this market.
Look at the move, just coincidentally. Oh, Joel's got the under the hood on the screen here. Look at the move in Estee Lauder. Just as an example, I like this move because we have a clear catalyst with the earnings report, and then we have a clear catalyst with the Treasury statement here. You can see how these two different news items are impacting this consumer name here.
Huge move in Estee Lauder. You got the numbers?
Sure. Let me pull them up here real quick. Estee Lauder reporting early this morning, 6 a.m. They reported 39 cents. Analysts were around 32 cents. Sales beating 3.63 billion. Analysts were at around 3.5 billion. How was their fiscal 27 guidance? It looks like it was solid. They're expecting earnings 310 to 335. Analysts are 318. Sales expected for 2027 15.5 to 15.8 billion. Analysts are at about 15.56 billion for EL. Shares were trading up, good like $8 ahead of the Treasury news, and now have added on another $4 or $5 here.
Yeah, big pop here, Estee Lauder. Also cutting some jobs, I hear. I didn't see that headline, but somebody said they're cutting 10,000 jobs as well, which is not nothing. This is a company with 57,000 employees. So if they are indeed cutting 10,000 jobs, I did not see the headline myself, so I just mentioned it. That's talking almost 20% of the workforce.
Mm-hmm. Anything on the EL
Man, I'm
chart?
trying to find some resistance in here, and I had
Find
to
some
go.
resistance on SPY because it just keeps climbing here.
Yeah, yeah. Well, the top Tuesday, the Globex high could be a target here. That's 15 handles away. When I say the Globex high, folks, I like to track the 24-hour market. We had the week close on Monday. The opening on Tuesday was right near the close. So you have the close from Monday at 68.50, and you have Tuesday's Globex high at 70.50. We've already kind of filled that day gap here. So looking for perhaps another 15 at least. I mean, we've had some quiet ranges. We've come down from over 100-point average ranges to just whittled down to like 50 today. So we'll see. We'll see if we're right back up here off that Treasury news as we continue. There's like no offers. Dennis, is there any offers?
No, I don't. It's
There's
just
no
a steady
offers?
climb. Bring up SPY again here. Like usually you chop around. This has been buy now for 15 straight minutes here, 20
Wow.
minutes. There's
Wow.
been no pullback, no dip. Like you're just steady buying here. So this is like people are like, holy crap. This is like, I think we're actually like, this is bigger news than we think it is here. Like not just for the bond market, but for the stock market too.
Everything.
I don't know. It sounds like QE for bonds. Is what it sounds
like QE for bonds. That's
what it sounds like.
And like, obvious statement here, but some of the mining companies are rallying here because we have gold and silver mining. So this is like definitely an everything rally.
Everything rally here, folks. We haven't seen one of these in a while. So very impressive. Oh, look, we just dipped on SPY. There's a little dip.
We just
sorry to be distracted from our regular.
It's a steady climb. There's like no mercy here on this.
This is the news of the day.
It is, I think all of a sudden just became the news of the day.
Of the
like
week.
We're trying to get back to the earnings reports here, but this does feel like it's the news of the day here as well. I mean, we have TJX, we have Lowe's, we have Target. We can go a lot of different places in the last 7 minutes. So if you have a specific stock that you want to talk about, let us know. Let's go to Target. Okay. Because TGT had a pretty high bar coming in here. We talked about the move that's had in the last year, basically doubling. So, I mean, this wasn't going to be an easy report for it to go higher on, but it's holding up well. How was the report?
The report was pretty good. They reported 246 in earnings. Analysts were around 230. Their sales beat at 26.5 billion. Analysts were around 26 billion. The guidance looked pretty good, though. They did raise their 2026 guidance. They raised from around 850 now to around 1050. So that was pretty substantial. They also raised their sales guidance. They're now expecting closer to 110 billion in sales for 2026. Analysts are around 109 billion for ticker TGT.
Nice pop and then a big drop. Yeah. Unchanged. Straddle sellers win, at least at this point here. You had a 9-point expected move. You didn't get anywhere near the 160 or 160, 150 area. What about on the downside? The downside, you just had a spike. I don't know if that was like during a call or something, down to 144. But battling it out here, it unchanged on the session. High of the move was yesterday or 2 days ago. The recent high of the rebound in target 156.47. If you want an intermediate number just to gauge it for today, The high close of the move, I think I keep an eye on that one. That's still $2 away at 154.48. That is go back to the daily here. And does this mean people aren't going to Walmart anymore and they're just going to Target? Well, let's see.
People
Here.
just shop and the consumer is still hot. That's what it means.
Target.
We're going to find out if people are going to Walmart tomorrow because Walmart reports earnings tomorrow morning. So preview me Walmart. Preview me Walmart, please. You got it on the screen. Earnings tomorrow morning.
Wow. Someone's trying to wiggle out here. You got a quad top here at 116.40. That's your big number. Get above that, things open up, get back over the 200-day. And longer term, what you want to see after trading below the 50-day for so long, the good support here, developing 114 even, 114.45. So kind of trade the range here last few days ahead of the Walmart report.
I see expected move $6 on Walmart.
Okay, thank you, Brent.
Mm-hmm. We didn't really get any tickers from the chat, so I guess we can go where we want.
Back to SK Hynix. I know people want to get away from AI, but they did do a buyback here. So they announced a buyback here overnight. If you're wondering why SK Hynix has been strong all morning here, that is the reason. It's up 5.7%. It's a big move. So everybody that was calling for the SK Hynix crash last night, because they saw SK Hynix down overseas, weren't accounting for that it was down over here, and their markets are playing catch up with ours, which we've been saying before. So SKHY up 5.74%, moving much higher here this morning. Buyback? How much buyback?
40 trillion won, but that converts to about $30 billion US.
That's a big buyback.
It's large. It's a lot of.
Yeah, this company's raking it in too. I mean, you talk about companies that are making money. This is another one's making a hell of a lot of money. So, I mean, Micron, SanDisk, SK Hynix are companies that are just raking it in right now. Does it change? Does the narrative change? Do they go eventually into other stocks too? You know, like we've been talking about, the movement into the drug stocks and the AI efficiency trade, I think is coming. But right now, there are still certain companies that are benefiting from AI immediately. And that is your Skynex, your SK Hynix, I like Skynex better. We should start calling it Skynex. But SK Hynix, Micron, SanDisk. I mean, here's another pop back. What do you do, Joel?
Man, this thing is, it's just very, very volatile. Charts to me, not as valid here. But if you're using the U.S. charts here, you got a gap to fill from a few days ago. People may be caught here, and that gap, the bottom of the gap, is way up here at 169.57. So use that as a potential target. Still right off the highs of the pre-market session. So first things first, take out the pre-market high at 166.20 and then see if you can get a gap fill here for SK Hynix.
It's been such a newsy day. I'm excited for the 9 a.m. news dump here. That we get some more happening here because this dog days of August is not today. Today was not the dog days of August. Today we've had some pretty exciting news.
10-point sell-off. Holy mackerel. We're starting.
Buy the dip, Joel. It's the dip to get in there. Hell, I'm just going right in there and buying the dip.
The dip was yesterday, Dennis, when you were like, what's down? Things are down. We're down.
I know. That's how it works.
No. Nice move up here. So do we want to try and sneak in one more report or should we just anxiously await this 9 a.m. 9 a.m. news?
Other earnings reports that we had TJX, we had Toll, we had
TJX. Stop you at TJX. You had me at TJX.
Fee has on screen right now our nice banner. The follow us on at StockTraderNet banner. Thank you, Fee. TJX here. Get the TJX chart on screen. There she is. TJX reporting $1.22. They beat by about 3 pennies, a modest beat. Sales also beating modestly, 15.8 billion. Analysts were about 15.7 billion. Let's see how their guidance was. Their guidance wasn't super hot for next quarter. They're looking for next quarter earnings $1.30 to $1.32. Analysts were up at $1.34. However, they did raise their 2027 guidance. They are looking for 2027 earnings $5.15 to $5.20. Analysts are at $5.22. So an inline quarter, kind of some weak guidance from TJX.
Not great. This company always seems to come back, though. So it is the ultimate buy the dip stock. And I'm not saying they'd come in the first day and buy the dip here, but it always seems like when we get off 10, 15% from the highs in TJX, you look back at it, a year later, you're back at all-time highs again. This company is just run so well. The off-price retailers obviously have been, unbelievable stocks for a very long time. I don't know if that changes. I don't think it changes. So, on TJX, would I buy a dip on TJX at a certain point? Absolutely.
You did get a spike below 143 back in late last year. You had a pair of weekly lows at the 144 area, so that's where initially you could perhaps find some support. For me, I think if I'm looking longer term here, I'll let the dust settle today. But a lot of memory here at this 140 area. We traded there for several weeks back in 2025 before you had the rally. So, if 144, you feel it's a little bit early here. Real good support. Let's just call it the whole 140 area here. We have surpassed the 9 o'clock news dump.
We're looking.
Bloom
Energy
Energy.
introduces. You got it. We both went the same one. Go.
It's a little fluffy. Bloom Energy introduces Power Connect, a bit of a promotional release here. A new deployment system that can reduce on-site power installation time by over 40%. It is a promotional release. We don't see Bloom Energy shares moving here.
Not too much.
A stock that was moving, FEMY, Phemosys, announcing FDA approval for one of its devices. The stock did move a little bit on that. I kind of got to the top of my 9 a.m. news dump here. Intern in the SCN chat was saying that there's news in TEM. I saw the stock moving. I was assuming it was moving on with the broader market, but I'm going to have to go track down news in TEM. It looks like besides those couple that I
Tempest
said,
AI,
though,
we're talking, Joe, not TM, TEM. Tempest AI is moving. It's up 13% right now.
it has been moving for, a few hours since like 6 a.m. So we're going to have to go track down what's going on with TEM. But besides those, we are clear on our 9 a.m. news dump, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay. Awesome job, Brentster. Awesome job,
Thank
team. Awesome job, chat. I mean, we had a lot of breaking news here in this show. Dog days of August, not today. Lots going on. Let's go trade some of these ideas over at Stock Trader Network.
Should be a fun open. All right, folks. Thanks for joining us today.
See everyone tomorrow.